sure you'll get there. But so it's not like art where it appreciates. Is what I wanted to ask, I guess, right? Like, do Stein.
Of course, you appreciate it.
It appreciates. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I buy what are they called? Stein. Sorry, I'm such an idiot. Steinway. So if I buy a Steinway piano and I keep it for 3 years, it's gonna be more expensive.
Well, I don't know. I'm not an expert on the value of like piano.
That'd be a good investment.
I play them.
Yeah.
But I can't say for sure. But yes.
Pianos are so expensive. It's insane. It really is. 150 grand. Dude, that's so much money. Woo! My mind's blown. No, honestly,
they're worth it.
I'm sure, but like $150,000 for something that you cannot move, that you, is like big as fuck. Right? It's not like a house. Like 150 grand for a house. Even like a car, like 150. That's a luxury car or a painting. Like, that's a lot. Like that thing is huge. Yeah. Interesting. Here's to you buying one day. Yeah, you should check on Xianyu. Maybe it'll be half price.
Yeah, I feel privileged to be able to take piano lessons for years and years and years. That my parents supported this, and being able to get here, it is a privilege. Really, like I'm very grateful with it because pianos are not cheap. Piano lessons are not cheap.
Yeah.
And going into music schools, graduate school is not cheap.
Right.
So really put into a lot of investment in that sense.
And it's paying off.
I don't know about that. I hope so.
Lexi, honestly, like you're still so young. Like this will pay off. Like the older you get, it's an industry like that, right? Like the older you get, the more it'll.
But I don't think as a musician, as an artist, I don't think we go into it thinking about how much return we get from this,
Right. Yeah. No, that's
we
totally fair.
We wouldn't be doing music. We would go and be lawyers. And,
hey, lawyers are very successful and happy people sometimes, right?
Yeah, but it's hard for me to understand how you'd be happy doing law.
Yeah. I know some lawyers that are pretty happy.
Okay.
Yeah. No, because like there's, I think when a lot of people think of law, they think about like the paperwork and the bullshit. But I know some lawyers. I know 2 types of lawyers. That's not true. 3 types of lawyers. Corporate lawyers. Don't want to talk about them. But like, I know some people who work in criminal law, and they actually say that it is incredibly rewarding work. Because that's where a lot of the bread and butter for like juries or trials get done, right? Through the research and the digging. And, I've heard situations where you change someone's life. So, where they were guilty and then you acquitted them or vice versa. And then I've heard the other type of lawyer, that work for like NGOs. And like, it is amazing how much importance. I think a lot of people don't think about this a lot, but from my understanding, at least a lot of NGOs around the world, or whether that's like a charity in your neighborhood or like, something large like Red Cross, right? There are a lot of obstacles in the way, and the people who usually run them are not equipped to think about things that way. Like they really need a lot of help. Like they employ accountants, lawyers, right? Because the people that run them usually are just people who want to help.
That's true. If you go into law, thinking about helping people, that's really important and noble work. I agree. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
It's okay. No, guys, I think like the most of people we deal with are these like people who just move money around, or at least that's how they are in movies, right?
Right, that's true.
Yeah. Is that what you would do if you weren't a musician?
I don't think so. I think I would be doing something art related, like writing or I don't know.
You should write. I can see that.
I used to be a good writer, but I haven't been writing.
Just pick up the pen again.
I should.
Or sorry, open Microsoft Word again. It's probably a more accurate way of describing that these days.
Pen? What's that?
Yeah, what's a pen? My penmanship is so bad these days.
But I really admire the kind of writing and this podcast that you do.
Oh, fuck off! Come on, let's not go down that road. Thank you. That's very nice of you.
Although I criticized you about having this gender imbalance on your podcast.
Dude, the last like 3 out of 4 people we've had have been women.
Oh yes, I actually opened up your podcast today. So
cool.
There's like new.
So to be honest, like that wasn't done by choice. I love talking to women. You know, I think it's really cool. Last episode we had on this girl who works with me. Her name is Amy. She's like 22. She's Chinese, but she was adopted. You know, and like adopted by a white family in America. Like 4 older white siblings, mom and dad together, happy, great. But what part of the really cool thing about this podcast so far is just being able to talk to somebody like her, and then 4 days talk to somebody like you. Because I can't tell you the last time I had an hour long or 30 minutes, however long it's going to be, you know, conversation with a musician who, like, I have immense respect for the fact that you are where you are right now. Because I cannot imagine that would have been easy, right? Because you stuck with one thing from like 4 onwards. I haven't stuck with one thing from like 4 days ago. You know, much less from like 4 onwards. Like, I think that's so cool. And obviously within our realm of people, you know, somebody who's actually a professional pianist, you know, a musician and can influence the next generation, I think was really cool of having you on here.
Oh, I'm really honored that you have me here. And what do you think you're learning from talking to all of these different...
Oh, I've learned a ton. I've learned that this month was like Domestic Abuse Awareness Month and Mental Health Awareness Month. Didn't know that 3 weeks ago. You know, Amy and I had a conversation last week about the difference between adoption and fostering. Right, fostering is you just take them in for like a shorter amount of time, while an adoptee is more like permanent. And I've always thought about this in terms of like, I would love to adopt, but the way that she phrased it was, when you actually foster, you get to impact more children.
Yeah.
So, you know, the return on investment is higher, I guess you can say, right? I've never thought about it that way. You know, we had Cameron on, we talked about arena football in China. So we're so new. This is month 1, month 2, you know, but I'm having a great time. Definitely, this has been a blast.
That's great. Yeah. I think it's meaningful work that you're doing.
Thank you. I hope so.
Yeah, like amplifying, you know, diversity and just Asian voices.
We try to, yeah. Hopefully you'll be one of them. What is, like, is there a goal with this piano thing? Like, do you ever, I don't even know what is the highest level that you can achieve in piano? Be on a Taylor Swift cover, or what is? There's
no end.
Okay. So what, you can be Beethoven, or?
There's no end in the pursuit of music and art. I don't think so. It's like, if you think you've arrived, you are probably a crappy artist.
Yeah, no, I fully
or
agree.
Or person, even if you think, oh, I've arrived, I know everything now.
Yeah.
Then
arrogance.
You're probably not that good, right?
Yeah, we had Howie on. I told him, you know, I feel like for the first time in my life, I'm old enough to know that I don't know enough, or that I don't know anything really. You know, I think that just takes a bit of time and maturity.
Oh yeah, we all live the questions.
Yeah. What is your personal goal with the piano thing? Like, do you eventually want to perform in front of the Queen, or release an album, have a Spotify playlist? I don't know. I you know, I don't know what a concert pianist does aside from playing concerts.
I think there's a lot for me to do as a pianist. The world doesn't need that many concert pianists.
Okay.
Right? Because the consumption of classical music, it's different from, you know, other music genres or music industry these days. We need like maybe 5 concert pianists in the world.
I don't think that's enough.
Well, on like
5.
the top, 5 concert pianists,
right.
That's enough.
Okay.
For people to go see their concerts, and things like that. But the type of pianist we need in this world is to be in the communities, to be among people.
Okay.
And I think that's where I aim to be, to build culture.
Yeah? Is that why you teach so much now, or to be able to affect the next generation, or?
Yeah, I teach. I want kids to discover the joy of learning music and understand this.
That's pretty cool.
Musical world.
Yeah.
You know, it's like secret code you have to learn to be able to get into this world.
So that's honestly, Lexi, that's such a cool way to explain it. It's like a secret code. I don't have a relationship with music the way you do, but I think that's a really beautiful way to explain it. It really is.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Because like in a lot of ways, you feel, once again, music is, I think this has been clinically shown, right? Like music is one of those things that just affects you differently than a lot of other stimuli, right? Because like it affects your senses differently. It affects your, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system differently. Like people can feel music. Like I'm not even talking about what, like different people feel different music types different way, right? EDM concerts, country music, Latin music, classical music, whatever. But just the concept of music, everybody kind of feels that. It's one of the beautiful things about it. And I think for classical musicians, it's so important to be able to kind of show that what it was like before, and how it has stuck this long. It's amazing that we're sitting here in the year 2020 on a podcast talking about Moonlight Sonata. Like I think that's amazing. It's like it's been 300 years or 200 years. How long?
Yeah.
Right.
250 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy.
That's fucking nuts. Yeah.
This is what we need as humans.
100%.
Like, especially in the year of this suffering, like the whole pandemic, climate change. This is what we need to connect with one another, I think. And music does change people's lives in a lot of different ways. And studies show music changes how your brain's wired.
Absolutely,
if you study instrument or if you sing.
Yeah. What type of music do you listen to outside of classical?
Oh, I listen to a lot of classical.
That's what I said. I said classical.
What type of music? I guess I wouldn't say listen. I guess I have different definition of listening to music than non-musicians, because I can't have music in the background. Like when I listen to music, it's more like reading a novel. Like I follow the plots and like what's going on.
Dude, that's so interesting. That's all types of music? Like when you listen to hip hop, it's like that too, or?
Not really. Like just like specifically classical music.
Right.
It doesn't wash over me easily.
Right.
I get very focused on like what's going on in the music. So that requires a lot of energy. So I just need breaks from music.
Yeah.
Like after doing that. Like
when
I'm
of course.
doing other things.
Yeah.
I don't put on music. I'd rather put on
podcasts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think I can deal with other type of music as long as they're not too loud.
Okay, so you're not into like fucking heavy metal or shit like that, or like EDM,
no.
like no, that's not your thing.
Not much. I can have a little bit like pop music, R&B, like in the background.
Yeah, isn't it like it's so crazy? So for me, music is it depends on what I'm doing and the mood I'm in. And like my genre will change. Like when I'm in the gym, I haven't been to the gym for a while, but when I used to go to the gym, it used to be like hardcore EDM.
Really?
Yeah, and that was the only time I would listen to it. But like for every minute I was in the gym, it was like it was like I can't listen to EDM outside of that. But like when I have quiet evenings, I listen to a ton of jazz actually. Not so much classical, but like a ton of like jazz from the 40s and the 50s, like Miles Davis and things like that.
Cool.
I think this is like the 3 years of saxophone that's had influence on my life probably. but otherwise I listen to a ton of hip hop, but like old school hip hop and more like lyrical hip hop, and I listen to a lot of Asian artists. So like it really depends on my mood. Yeah, that's why I asked you, like, if you're feeling different things and you're like, fuck, I don't want to listen to classical music, what do you listen to? Like Taylor Swift or?
Yeah, maybe I don't think I seek out Taylor Swift.
Why? Taylor's great.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah, I do listen to her sometimes.
Yeah, she's great. No.
But I guess it's the same as you say, depending on the mood, but I search for like different classical music.
You still listen to classical? Dude, you're like addicted to that shit. How some people treat cocaine is how you treat classical music. I feel like.
But also, I put on the same pieces on a loop.
Oh, yeah, I do that with Moonlight. Yeah. I do that with Beethoven.
I like doing that.
Okay, cool. We gotta raise your exposure to other types of music.
Yeah, that would be good. I would love that. I would explore like world music, music from all over the world. Type of, when we say classical music,
right.
This is the thing, when we say classical music, we actually meant Western white man music. Right,
yeah. Dude, that's a really good point. Yeah, because they're all fucking white and men. Literally all of them are white. Yeah, like 90. Yeah, that's
so many,
wow.
Like women composers throughout history just being erased by these white men too.
That's so interesting.
And when we say classical music, there's Chinese classical music, there's Indian
of course.
classical music, there's everywhere, but we don't, it's not included. So that's a big problem.
Yeah.
And I want to get to know more of those music.
Dude, that's so awesome. Do you listen to like Chinese classical music?
Sometimes I do.
What's Chinese class like? What is considered classical?
Oh, that's a hard definition. I don't really know what's considered classical. Also, not I'm expert on that.
Yeah. Is it the thingy, like the plucking thingy? That's not the right word. We're losing like 20 listeners because of this. No, is it fuck? It's like a Chinese guzheng. Yeah, like Chinese harp. It's like dong dong like that. Yeah. That one. Yeah. Do you play that?
No. Yeah, I would love to learn how to do that.
Chinese classical music, man. Music has like a long cultural history in China. Like they were very advanced in it very early on. Not just like this like guzheng shit, but like this one as well.
Yeah,
erhu, there we go. Erhu is probably so people can't see this image. We'll have a video, yeah. Well, you got it. We got a charades together. I feel like erhu is probably the most common. Chinese violin, right? Or what is it called?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to carry everywhere. You see people play.
Yeah.
But I also go back to the point where you said that your mom really loved ballet, and that's Tchaikovsky's music.
Yeah.
Swan Lake.
Yeah.
And classical music only started to have a presence in China, like piano, only after the 70s.
Right. Yeah. And I guess they actually would have been more promoted in China because China had a good relation with USSR back then. Do you think maybe that's why?
I think, after like the whole Cultural Revolution,
right?
There's more resources.
Yeah.
And a lot of musicians were able to go abroad and study, get exposed, and these cultures get to come in and influence and shape people's minds.
But a lot of that in the beginning was the USSR, wasn't it? Because like my grandfather on my mom's side studied in, I believe, Moscow. This was maybe the 50s, 40s even. And which is totally fine, obviously. But I think a lot of the early influence is actually from the USSR back then.
That's probably true. Yeah.
Maybe that's why like Swan Lake is so popular in China. Yeah. We just figured this out. Yeah. We should make a TikTok about this. I'm kidding. Cheers. Oh, classical music. Okay.
But yeah, I spent my whole life studying Western music, culture. I think at some point I had all these identity crises
Right.
about being Chinese. Because people would ask me, especially when I was in the US, people would ask me questions about, Chinese classical music, Chinese music. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not what I studied. Yeah.
I took a course in college, but...
Oh, really? Wow.
But I don't know anymore.
It's okay. Most people are like that. Most people do not remember one course from college, yeah.
Right. But I identify, just on a very deep level, I identify with Western art.
Right.
And culture.
Okay.
And that made me fall somewhat uncomfortable at some point.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I feel like a lot of China struggles with that because I think a lot of Chinese people, they went abroad and soaked up so much about from the other country's culture. Whether that is, like ABCs. Like ABCs are such an interesting type of people. Like they are so American in so many ways, but now as they're getting older, a lot of them are actually coming back here and seeing things. It just drives me nuts because China has such a vast history of culture.
Yeah.
Like that's what originally one of the reasons why I want to do the noodle shop is because not just China, but Asia in general has such a vast history of everything like art to entertainment to song to humor, like there used to be jesters, in China. People don't understand this. So I feel like now we are importing so much of the Western world's culture, which is fine, but China itself has such a vast history of culture, especially music. Music has a rich history in China.
Yeah, lots of diversity too.
Yeah, for sure. All the 少数民族. That's what I said. Sorry, my Chinese isn't that good. All the what do you call them? Aboriginal people in China, right?
Yeah, they have rich music traditions.
Yeah. This is one thing I think a lot of people do not understand about China. Yes, China now is a lot, 大部分是 Han, like the majority of Han are people, but China is essentially comprised of like a lot of different tribes and cultures and ethnicities, and now they're more mixed together, but there's a lot of different people in China.
Yeah, I think I took it for granted.
Yeah?
Growing up, I didn't think about these things until I was in graduate school in the US. I started to really seek out classical compositions that's mixed with like Chinese traditional characters.
Okay.
Like all these Chinese American composers.
Such as...
So I played a piece by this composer, Chen Yi.
Okay.
Yeah, she's amazing. I love all her music. She took a lot of Chinese traditional music elements into her work.
I would love to listen to some.
Yeah, for piano, for orchestra. And I really love that. But, this is the thing we're dealing with in the year of 2022. Like, ever since the Black Lives Matter movement. Also, the classical music world has been reflecting on, what's really classical music.
Right. What's the definition of it?
What it's just white man music, or all these other type of music gets into, be included.